Ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, mate.
Thank you very much. It's all yours. Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all. I can't see any of you, actually, because the lights are so bright. My name's Andrew Mortimer. I'm the co-founder and managing partner of the Aperto Partnership. Hopefully you've heard of us. If you haven't, we're a media advisory business, and we help advertisers get the best from their media investments. But we also help brands build smarter partnerships with their media agencies. So I'm excited to talk about the next two sessions here. First, we've got Greg Grimmer talking to Tim from EssenceMediacom about what media agencies can do for clients, the value they add and create for their clients, how they offer the greatest value. And then we're going to bring on a panel of three advertisers whose actual money it is that we're all spending in this room to talk about what they need from agencies in our What's the Point of a Media Agency in 2023 panel. It is good. It's positive, by the way. We've been a bit naughty with the title. So please enjoy it. Look forward to seeing you shortly for the advertiser panel. But first, I'm going to hand over to Greg Grimmer from Mediatel.
Great couple of days here, and this being our stellar event. Justin, Steve and the team have done an amazing job, and I'm delighted that so many of you stayed for this session. And I'm also delighted to be joined by my good friend Tim Irwin. We were just discussing how we both started working about 2019 as young graduates, and then we're amazed that he's actually worked for WPP for 20 years in various guises. We both worked at something called BJK&E, which I'll be giving a prize to in the bar later if anyone knows the initials of that. But from BJK&E, he went into Maxis, and then Maxis into Essence. And the latest iteration of his glorious agency career is EssenceMediacom, who are I think the flagship agency within the WPP stable. And I thought I'd give him a chance to tell us why EssenceMediacom came about and what it delivers to the advertising world. Tim.
Thank you, Greg. It was actually 1989, for clarification.
89.
Yeah, not 2019. Yes, thank you for the free plug, firstly. So Essence and Mediacom, two, I think, very successful businesses, but I think looking forward with what's to come in our world, our landscape, I think we saw the need to take both their qualities and amalgamate them to build a kind of a globally scaled business based around the things that are going to be most important for advertisers going forward, which is an understanding of data and analytics and using technology to speed up thinking and planning processes. So I guess the reason for creating this new agency, which doesn't actually launch until the end of January, and there's lots I can't tell you.
Come on, give us something. Give us something that would, Omar's out there with his pen
Omar's
ready.
Out there, yeah, well, in that case, I definitely won't. But I mean, we think there's a need for a new model. And so we are applying the learnings of the two existing agencies and talking to our clients about the future and understanding how consumers are using media channels differently and will do going forward, and the integration of commerce and all of that sort of stuff, and building an agency that is fit for that model rather than perhaps one that was fit for the current or previous model.
Okay, and obviously it's still the primary role of a media agency to spend their clients' money wisely, be the guardians of that media investment. We had Natalie from OMD here yesterday saying that her people love spending money with Google, but equally love spending money with ITV. Yeah, it's gone away a bit, but I wonder, obviously Essence has come from a very particular place, but I wonder whether you felt that the sort of direct relationship that the big tech and indeed broadcast companies has, is that, I mean, are you more scared of them than you are of OMD? Is that a view that's fair?
It's the question we've been answering for every sort of 10 years, isn't it? I guess a number of years ago, when you were a lad, Greg, we were talking about Google taking over the world, disintermediating agencies, and that didn't really happen. We now work in tremendous partnership with platforms like that.
I believe they are a client of Essence.
They are indeed a client of ours, yeah. We spoke a lot about in-housing a few years ago. That seemed to be very That seemed to be a big issue a few years ago. So I guess the kind of role of the agency is always under question. I do think, having said that, I do think that the shape of the landscape now is so different than it perhaps was previously. So I was doing some numbers on this, and I think if you take the big four, if you exclude China, because that seems to be entirely different, but if you take the big four platforms around the world, Google, Facebook, Amazon, ByteDance, they account for something like 60% of all global ad revenue. So in a sense, I understand your question, but equally, it is the reason why agencies need to get a better understanding of how to best use those platforms for their clients, as well as obviously the really important local media channels as well. So I get the question. I think it's a challenge for agencies to remain relevant and to remain with an advantage over anyone trying to do it by themselves.
And you're not, again, it wasn't EssenceMediacom coming together, wasn't a response to that.
Not specifically, no. I think it was a much wider brief, which was what is the future going to be, and what do agencies need to do to deliver against that more effectively.
Okay. Here we're at a Future of TV conference, and again we've seen a lot of forward-facing tech. Again, TV used to be easy, wasn't it? In fact, when I was running a digital agency, I used to say to my CEO, one person can do £1 million worth of search, and that same person can do £4 million worth of TV a week. So the TV used to be easy to buy, and back to sort of Natalie's question is, TV's now harder to buy, AV's more complex. People are talking about total video and things like that. I mean, is it more work for less commission? I mean, what's the advantage of this advanced TV world for you?
I think complexity is just a good thing for agencies. Going back to my earlier point around having to demonstrate our value, and I think the more complex the problem, the more value we can create for advertisers, I think. So complexity is a good thing. Commission. I think the industry, we're kind of paired up with travel agents and estate agents when we talk about commission. I think the agency model of the future needs to be more fee-based and more outcome-based. So I think, we as agencies do need to demonstrate our value. And I think the more value we can demonstrate, then the more valued we'll be by those advertisers. So I think the complexity bit is actually a real positive for the future of agencies.
So travel agencies and estate agencies both sell a dream. Are you selling a dream?
I think so.
Yeah. And what is the dream? What is the dream for clients? In that complexity, making the complex thing simple, or.
I think an agency in the past used that line. I think it's a good line, but I think actually what we're trying to do is, I would call it join the dots. I think the role of the agency in, say, the video landscape is to join the dots between all the channels and the consumer. So to really understand the impact of every impression, to really understand the relationship between the initial message and the sales channels, and so join those commercial dots and prove the value of any advertiser investment.
Okay. Now, I want to talk in a positive way about TV here, but there was some chat in the green room about, there's an article, I don't know whether Mark Sweeney from The Guardian has showed his face into this conference. You want to see Mark was given exclusive access to a ISBA Ubiquity report recently, and it showed fantastic decline in television revenue. Everything's going into more promotional media next year. Now that is obviously Mediatel connected. We have Group M forecasts, we have IPG forecasts, we've got Zenith forecasts, all of which are saying something different to that. Could you tell the clients in the audience, and indeed for the CROs in the audience and broadcasters, why TV revenue isn't forecast to fall off a cliff next year by Group M and others, and why that report by Mark might have been wrong?
Well, I don't really want to talk on behalf of Group M. Group M have published their figures, and we'll put those figures over there. But my view on this is that report specifically, I think it was a headline grabber. And I think you've got to be careful with sample sizes. I think it spoke to 59 advertisers. So not really representative, number one. I think more important than that, I think there is an understanding that there is as is the consumer, there is a slow transition from traditional viewing into more addressable TV channels. And I think the TV companies clearly, really understand that. And that's why ITV with ITVX and Channel 4 with Nectar and so forth, they're really understanding the power of data to use their channels in a way that helps people like me join the dots for our clients. So I think the report was fine because it was getting to a headline of, TV is changing, and that's fine, it is. But I think TV companies are actually in this country and elsewhere are really well placed. I think the more addressability that they can serve up, the more connections with things like commerce that they can create, the stronger they will be. I think some of the language in that report was a little bit outdated. So talking about brand and performance, I think those terms, I think we need to move on from there. I think, we all know that in reality, how consumers behave is a little more complex than that. And I think TV companies with their new products and their new ability to access data and consumer insight from that data will start to really understand that the sort of consumer sales funnel is a bit more complex. Our job is to help them sort of measure that and quantify that.
Nice segue for me into measurement. We had a series of presentations yesterday about measurement and the different types of measurement techniques. Again, have you got some examples of where you're using alternative measurement to standard audience measurement that's for the benefit of clients and better understanding of how TV performs? Yeah,
because this is obviously central to what I've been saying and what we're trying to do. I think measurement is key in all of this. And it's complex, it is difficult, and there's people having a really good go in this country and other countries trying to measure a bunch of different solutions in one go, so one can look at the sort of collective impact of a campaign. So Project Origin in this country is trying to do that. It is difficult, and I think my view on this is that it's the metric that you're measuring that is most important. So I think the issue with measuring things like reach and impressions and so forth is that you're always going to have an argument about the value of one reach point versus one channel versus another, etc. So I think the examples I've got that are a bit more valuable to advertisers tend to focus on things that are more clearly understood of being of value. So we have an agency in Amsterdam, and they've done some very interesting work on measuring the impact on awareness building. Now, I appreciate awareness building is not the be-all and end-all for every company, but it's at least a metric that lots of people want to achieve. And in the model that they've got, they can actually look at the impact of, a bit like traditional econometrics in some ways, but in the short term, they can look at the impact of a variety of channels against that awareness build. So that's something that helps to compare kind of apples with apples a bit more, which has always been a bit of a struggle with some of the other things. In this country, we're doing a lot of work measuring the impact of TV on search. It's not massively complex, but it is really important so that advertisers can look at their TV investment, whether that's linear TV or addressable TV or whatever, and they can see the impact on their search, their e-commerce sales and so forth.
Reminds me of when I was about 2005, I sort of said, shall I buy another burst of search? Things have hopefully moved on from that, but it may be, people, when within your TV burst, how do you change your search strategy? I think it's still, there's no one knows the right answer still, do they? And that's, Google is 20 plus years old. Yeah. Okay. Very, very whistle-stop 15 minutes. I must get the event team to give us more next time. Have to get you back for another event. But again, one of the other things we're covering a lot in the Media Leader and on VideoNet is attention marketing. And again, we've had people talking about that over the last couple of... Have Essence got a view on that? Again, that's another area of sort of measurement, which is gaining lots of traction. And again, clients I'm speaking to are asking us our view on it. And there are people I know like audio. Actually, I think it doesn't really work for audio. Video, it does seem to be popular with. What's the Essence view?
Yeah, I'd say it's a bit like my example on awareness. To be honest, it's I think a value. I think it's more valuable than just looking at the net impressions that a campaign across multiple channels can deliver. So I think something that like that does give a sense of the efficiency or effectiveness of the investment. I don't think it's the ultimate answer. I think the ultimate answer has to link to commerce ultimately, but we are moving towards that model. But I think for the time being, I think things like attention are interesting, and I think for many brands probably very valuable.
Okay. So 14 seconds, I think, yeah, we need to rehearse this better, don't we? Because I've got 9 seconds now, so I'll finish with 30 million people watching the World Cup on ITV on Saturday. Will you be recommending to Essence clients they buy a spot on ITV?
I think we already have.
You already have?
Yeah.
Any that we know, who can we expect to see? Any?
Well, we've got quite a lot of clients in the UK, so you might see a few.
You might see a few,
clients,
But you haven't done a Group M deal, yeah.
I can't talk about Group M deal.
Can't talk about Group M. All right, don't talk about Mediacom, but yeah. Okay, well, we'll all be watching that on Saturday. We'll all be watching the centre break at half-time.
Look out
with,
for it.
hopefully without tears in our eyes. Yeah, or for my French friends that are still in the room, hopefully there'll be we have a French lady coming on stage now, I think. Yeah, let's hope there's some tears there. But,
let's hope so.
Tim, thank you very much.
Great,
Good luck in January. Please join me in thanking Tim Irwin for his time.
Thank you very much. Thanks.